Thank you, Ted. Our following speaker has led numerous projects and helped companies respond to cyber attacks across the globe. He holds a master's degree in secure systems and network engineering and continually conducts research on the latest trends in cybercrime, digital forensics, offensive technologies, and other core disciplines. He'll be speaking about embracing tomorrow, the imperative of recognizing future trends today. Please welcome Anatolii Tykushin, the Director of Services, Group IB.
Yeah, looking to myself in the t-shirt and now in the suit. Yeah, not getting used to this all the time. Sabah al khair, everyone. Yeah, today will be my, I would say, first attempt to start the idea actually in the transformation of how I see the future of cybersecurity and how we can make it much, much better and how we can reduce up to maybe 66% of the attacks in a couple of years. So first of all, who am I? It's a very tough question, I guess. But yeah, I have 5 years of experience with the company where I work with. I started as a junior digital forensics, and later I was middle, senior, team leader, and then I finally joined Group IB Middle East. And now I was leading digital forensics and incident response, and now I'm director of services. So I'm mostly technical guy, and my main focus is always to respond to the cybersecurity incidents, and I usually compare myself and our team to a very fast supercar, which starts very fast even without checking that everything is closed, everything is working as proper. So for today's agenda, it's not a product placement. There will be no hidden thought on which services to buy, what to use exactly. So our mission is the fight against cybercrime. First of all, it's a human-centric approach in the next cybersecurity evolution milestone. Then we'll talk about security operating model transformation. Then we'll proceed with threat exposure management, the emerging topic for the past couple of, I think, months, and maybe for last year. And we'll talk about how to increase the board oversight to make sure that our efforts and actually the cybersecurity team efforts, and they are understood and they give the proper, and like I would say, proper reaction from the board, and they understand why it's happening. And then for Q&A, we can meet at our booth, or you can find me anywhere. I'm usually walking around the conference. So let's start, finally, from the human-centric focus. Nowadays, the realistic expectations, the true picture is that the foundational security controls, like antivirus, EDR, whatever, the implementation will end one day. By foundational, I mean that there is, for example, a core feature set of every product. Your team is busy with choosing what product you exactly need, then how you process the RFP and POs or whatever. So this is a long procurement process and then the long implementation process, which kills lots of time, by the way. And then there is many vendors come and there is also always a fight or there is a big choose, but one day it will be done. Cybersecurity roles are finite, meaning that there is incident responder, there is digital forensic analyst, there is cyber threat intelligence, there is cyber threat program, there is cyber threat manager, many different roles, but they are still finite. And finally, you will understand what fits exactly your organization. So you will not be you won't even have a need to scale the team because you already have fit of the resources. The cyber battle for covering 100% of the endpoints, which will never end, but it will come to some very logical conclusion, meaning that, okay, 80+%, 90%, and then you will find which solutions are the best to cover the lack of visibility. Then the information technology infrastructure library, which is ITIL, or people trust. Usually the businesses think that yeah, people come, people go. It always depends on the business needs, the business understandings, and the relationships. But the most successful cybersecurity will happen only, it will be a trust in the people, trust in the cybersecurity professionals, and when you invest into them, and not just for the best for them, or not just for the best of yours, but it's your long-term relationship. And again, your disbalance in people, process, and technology, if it exists, one day it will be, again, finally understood and properly start being addressed. So what is one of the key success factors from me? Because I've seen many different companies in many different regions, not only in the Middle East, not only in CIS, not only in Europe, not only in APAC, and as well as in LATAM. And what I've seen that if there is a passionate team, it's the best if they keep with the company, keep going with the company. Many cases were when we, or my colleagues, my friends, they come to do instant response, and then the team was like, oh, you're doing so great, can we join your company? And this is the biggest fight, because some vendors, they're like, yes, please come to us, please join our team, we'd love to meet some passionate guys, while someone else saying that, no, you better stay at your company, now you have the lessons learned, now you know where to involve. So the focus is on developing the team expertise, but not to develop the skills for example, 1 to 3 years, and then count that the person will go from the company to find the best place, or maybe to find the best for himself, or for herself, of course. Then the team will receive a huge support from artificial intelligence cybersecurity copilots, which are right now announced but not yet working properly. This is from my observations. This will help to mitigate some small issues or automate some routine job. So you will not need, for example, junior analysts or in that quantity as right now. Then learning from subject matter experts during various engagements. When you start your SOC, when you do the SOC, you're doing compromise assessments. Maybe you may run into instant response. Maybe you have managed SOC services. So many other things where you invite subject matter experts to your organizations. And this is the key factor, that they should share their knowledge, but by not just saying that here is what we found, but this is how they do the analysis, how they do the process. And if the vendor hides their know-how, it's not the best for the client and for the internal team. They just see the excellence on some guys, but they don't know how exactly they think and how to grow into this field. They will try to upsell then training services, but yes, the training, it's again not 100% coverage of the mindset of the analyst in specific and real case. Then some vendors right now, they try to implement global research programs where they allow and give the access to some telemetry, to some raw data, which can be analyzed and then produced into the research with a co-branding or whatever, which is great still for the team. And the main point which I wanted to highlight is to make a transition from the vendors who are providing the prepackaged data and, for example, limited and filtered towards raw data and maybe the custom query language, which allows the team to think more. This is not for everyone. For some companies which want to save their time, reduce their costs of the team for the cybersecurity, they will need something, again, prepackaged on all levels. But for the technical team, if you want the proper analysts to work, they should access the more data the possible and make their own decisions and make their own detection logic. They should learn. And yeah, the products with comfortable feature customization, like when you have you have limited number of buttons which you can click and do the push button forensics or whatever, this will not, again, make people learn. Coming to security operating model transformation. So we should think that security should be as an undetachable module. So EDRs can be bypassed, even the best ones. We heard in news almost on the monthly basis that this was the ransomware case, this was the APT case, they brought this driver, this bring your own vulnerable driver or whatever. They got access to the kernel. This fight is almost endless. And antivirus are also bypassed and or even uninstalled or blindfolded just because of the many things, many different vectors. So if to imagine how to make this, if the EDR is bypassed, then what's next? My favorite story is when one of the vendor N started the incident response. They just introduced their own EDR, but not public to the market. And they co-installed it and coexisted with a different EDR. So during the incident, APT group was checking for top 17 EDR vendors, and once they spotted, they disable it, just because they had an approach for this. But they didn't know the name of this vendor, and this EDR was still remain on the system, which helped incident response team to survive. And of course, the topic which was highlighted maybe 20 minutes ago about integrating advanced software secure practices. What does it mean? Yes, security by design, when everyone knows what is exactly required from the team and what is required from the product, when there is a clear vision, clear visibility. Business logic verifications, one of the most important part, which usually not checked during the mobile application security assessment or any development. Workshops on secure coding. I didn't see many vendors or many big companies who are having this on the regular basis and bringing some interesting talks inside. Only usually when you reach 2,000 employees, 2,000 developers, or maybe a couple of hundred developers, then it starts working, but this is a must. DevSecOps practice is highlighted many times, and retrospective investigations. This is the thing I usually almost never see in the companies. What do I mean? That when there is any spotted vulnerability, any spotted misconfiguration or whatever business logic issue, no one checks retrospectively was it used by threat actors or maybe by some intruders before. The also important topic is about decentralizing risk decisions. Usually everything is united as a standalone, as a monolith, but it should be semi-automated and distributed across different business units. So, for example, the risk reassessment should reoccur manually in case of business transformations. When there is a new business, there should be a new risk assessment for this specific business unit. Then on the shift cyber threat landscape, when you receive reports and you understand what's going on, then it's an automatic reassessment of the criteria for threat actors. It should be done better automatically because many solutions provide proper reporting about this. Customer satisfaction criteria, meaning that if the clients are happy and satisfied with your cybersecurity, or they are not satisfied and they don't like that their data was leaked and that something happened to it, it means that your risk should be reassessed because you're not focusing so much on this. And semi-automatical is the compliance requirements change because this may shift on a couple of parameters also in the risk reassessment. And my favorite part of the security operating model transformation is about how to connect it to the business value. I've seen so many security operation centers within the clients which were doing reports that here is how many attacks we prevented, here is how many, what is the mean time to detection, there is the rate of false positive. This is too technical and this is not understandable and reachable by the management. So what are the proposed, for example, 6 metrics, which I would be glad to also to discuss later, is the cyber risk exposure, is to quantify potential losses due to the exposures from the attack surface, for example. The business downtime avoided, it's highly actual for the businesses who are doing online and they cannot afford themselves any downtime of their IT systems or production systems. So this counts in the metrics. So for example, there was a DDoS attack, then after the DDoS attack you will understand that it will require this number of hours for recovery, and then for of course the detection, responding, and recovery. And after this, you can summarize this and say that yes, we saved for you today $10 million just because you could have downtime of 5 minutes. or like of 5 hours, sorry. Data breach costs saved. This is apart from DDoS. This is more about potential fines and disputes and the legal disputes with the legals and with the courts after the data breach happened. Revenue protected, meaning that yes, the company was growing and the cybersecurity demanded this number of money for enhancement, and then this is how we saved your revenue, because this is the return on investment from the product, and this is again the reflected incidents, and the company which was protected from the incidents, it can be measured as a revenue save. Customer trust and retention, many times when there is a call from competitor and competitor know many details about the client just because they were pulling data from this, from there, and they usually not happy that, for example, their telecom operator or their ISP at home or whatever knows many things about them and lets this data to leak, which is not good, and customers will not be happy about this, and this is not good for the business. And the compliance metrics, of course, regulators, they're implementing some big fines, so it's not good to face them, and it's not good to suffer and make the business, it's better say, don't let everyone down. That's the main thing, I guess. And for continuous threat exposure management, this is very important topic, which again many times was discussed, but you should see and you should approach your infrastructure as the threat actor, which starts from outside and what it sees, then running internal and external threat exposure assessment, for example, the email, how many employees can be reached out, what are the potential segments to hit, then this is the product A, product B, whatever, many things which can be included here. Never estimate overall of the simple consolidation platform, so there won't be any platform which will do continuous or cyber threat exposure management for you. There will, but still the overestimating of this will not let you to understand, or it will blind you from some of the key aspects of this. Patching should be prioritized based on the risk ratio rather than common vulnerability score, and digital risk protection, which is, I think, a very comprehensive and very discussed topic nowadays, which will reduce the likelihood of targeting your employees and maybe your customers because your brand is somehow reused by someone else. Regular spear phishing campaigns to test user awareness, yes, why not? And instead of punishing employees, better transfer them, for example, to the high risk zone and pay more attention to them and let them learn on their mistakes. And again, according to Gartner, they assume that implementing STEM, it will reduce the likelihood of the attacks by 66%. So I think, yeah, what a journey it should be. Right now we're somewhere here, but you see at the end of the day it's sunny and it's not storming. Thank you very much, and yeah, I'll be glad to discuss some of the points later on.